I'll never forget a conversation I had early on scaling my business. I was living in San Francisco at the time, the land of the unicorns where everybody's trying to scale the next billion-dollar company. And I was talking to a guy and I said, hey, how do I scale this thing? How do I scale this business? And he said, there's one key. He said, I don't touch a business until it has product market fit. I've never even heard of that. He said, well, here's the thing. Before product market fit, it's like pushing a boulder uphill. You're trying to muscle this thing into actually scaling. After product market fit, you've got the wind at your back. So he said, I don't go into this company until it has product market fit because you just don't know that it's going to work and you can waste years, maybe even decades trying to perfect this thing. So what I want to walk through in this video, this is the second P. It's product market fit. It's the bridge. This is arguably the most important thing. It's how do we build product market fit? So we're going to talk about all the components of product market fit. How do you know if you have it and how do you create it in your business? Let's dive in. I just need more leads. Most founders think that they need more leads, they need more ads, they need more followers. Totally wrong. The truth is none of that matters if what you're offering doesn't resonate. This episode is about alignment. All right, it's product market fit. Okay, so the bridge here is product market fit. If you do not build it, you will continue to struggle because let's say maybe you can swim across, but that's exhausting. So you need to build the bridge of product market fit. Simply put, this means making sure that the thing that you sell actually solves a problem that people care about. What is the problem that your best customers lose sleep over? It's the problem that they want to just say, shut up and take my money. I need this. All right. And so that's what we're going to be walking through in this video. We're going to talk about there's 4 components of this bridge and of product market fit. All right, these 4 components, if you don't nail them, you're not gonna have a profit bridge at all, right? So maybe you'll be swimming across here trying to go get this profit, but you won't have a sustainable thing that scales. So let's dive in. So the first piece here is that fit is a feeling, not a formula. All right, this is probably the most frustrating thing that you could hear right now. If I were you, I would be furious because I'm like, just give me the formula. Just give me the equation to how I know if I have product market fit. Unfortunately, I can't do that because product market fit, it's not something you check off a list. It's something that you feel. All right. When you're pre-product market fit, everything feels forced. Every sale is like a wrestling match. Every message needs explaining because it's just not resonating, right? You're chasing customers and convincing them to care. But this is slightly better than the thing that you're using now. If you're doing all that stuff, you're in pre-product market fit. All right. But once you cross into post-product market fit, everything changes. People start finding you. People start chasing you down. People start saying, like I said earlier, shut up and take my money. As Perry Marshall would say, I've got this bleeding neck problem. It's this thing, I know my neck's bleeding. I know I'm in a lot of pain. Like I need a solution to this problem. So my question for you in this moment in your business is, are you pushing, right? Are you pushing your business uphill? You're pushing this boulder uphill, or are you letting the market pull you forward? There's a litmus test. It's very simple. I would ask you this. When you explain what you do to your target customer, do they, 1, understand it? And do they, 2, say, I want that? All right? They need to instantly understand it. There's a phrase, you probably heard of it, confused people don't buy. So they instantly understand it. I could draw it on a napkin. I could explain it in 30 seconds and after they understand it, they say, yeah, I want that. How do I get that? Right? They're following up with you, not the other way around. How do you do that? Well, you got to nail what's called the 4 Ps. Okay, that's the second piece here. It's the 4 Ps of a high converting offer. The first one is person. Okay, so it starts with your ideal customer. Who is the person that you can help the most that also has the ability to pay you to solve their problem? Right? So it's kind of like this little Venn diagram. These are the people that I can help the most. These are the people that can pay the most to solve that problem. So this is the most lucrative evolution of this problem. So how do I blend those circles together as best as possible into a Venn diagram? So start with that. Who is the person who you can help the most that has the highest ability to pay you to solve their problem? Then secondly is pain. What's the pain that they have that they know that they have? This is really, really important. There's the curse of knowledge. There's pains that they have that you know that they have, they don't know. People aren't seeking solutions to solve pains that they don't know that they have. And then most importantly in that is it a pain that they're willing to pay to solve? This is really important. All right, I'll give you an example. So let's say that I have back pain. I wake up, I've got back pain. Now you've got a solution to that back pain, and that solution is maybe it's in book form or maybe I'm working with you. You know that I have bad posture. So you decide, hey, I'm going to create a business around posture, or I'm going to create a book around posture. Now guess what? I don't know that I have a posture problem, so I'm not buying it. All right, this is where this concept we have, this is called chocolate covered broccoli. All right, this comes into play. Chocolate covered broccoli says, sell them what they want, give them what they need. So the chocolate, that's the solution to my back pain. The broccoli's hidden on the inside, that's my posture. So what's the pain that they have that they know that they have? Number 3 is the promise. What is a compelling promise that you can make that will solve the pain for that person? And the bigger the promise, the more valuable it is. And good promises, they tie to ROI. If I were to say, hey, if you pay me $1, I'll give you 10. Would you do that? Yeah. You would say, I'll give you all the money that I have. In fact, I'm going to go out and take out a loan to give you more money. Because if I give you $1 and you give me $10 for every dollar, that's a compelling promise. So that's kind of an exaggeration, but what's the equivalent of that in your business? How can you create such outsized value that people would be stupid not to pay you for the promise that you're offering? Then number 4, the 4th P, how much are they willing to pay for this solution? How much is this solution worth to them? And you need a price based on value received, not time spent. This is a death trap. If you're charging by the hour in your business right now, you're never going to scale because your hours are going to run out. If you're charging by the hour, well, it's like lawyers or, they charge by the billable hour. Well, oh my gosh, they're working all the time. They're working 70 hours a week because that's the only way that they make more money. So you need to package this in an offer that's not tied to the hour spent. If you price by the hour, well, what are they going to do? They're going to compare your hour to someone else's hourly rate and say, that sounds expensive. No, price based on results. So those are the 4 Ps. Now you might be thinking, how do I price this? And how do I package this in a way that people actually want to buy it? Well, I'll never forget when I was in high school, I created a pressure washing business. And I got my first person that was like, hey, I want you to pressure wash for me. How much do you charge? The question that just strikes fear in the hearts of everyone. And I said, let me get back to you. And so then I'm going to my dad. I'm like, what should I do here? I'm like, I don't know. I'm making $7.25 an hour over at my job. So I said, should I just maybe charge him $10 an hour? He's like, absolutely not, Chandler. That's stupid. You're going to go pressure wash their house. It's going to take you 10 hours. $10 an hour, $100. So you're charging him $100. He's like, let's flip this on its head. What is this worth to them? Let's talk about value-based pricing. So think about your customer. I want you to think about this with your business in mind while I'm telling this story. So think about your customer. You said, well, what would it take for them to do it themselves? Well, it would take them renting a ladder and a pressure washer. Costs $100, probably more than that for the weekend. It's going to take them 2 days to pressure wash this house because they don't do this all the time. You do. So let's say it's going to take them about 20 hours. Well, what is their time worth? Probably $20 an hour. Now all of a sudden that's $400 in time. We're at about $500 now. And he's like, okay. And now also, what do you think they would pay to get their weekend back? All right. What would they pay to not have to pressure wash all weekend? Maybe $250. Like, okay, if I could get this weekend back, spend it with my kids and, whatever else. Okay. So now we're up to $750 in value. Well, what if you charge them $250? Which is a steal, by the way, to pressure wash their house. Well, now all of a sudden they're like, this is a steal because it would cost me $750 to do it on my own. You're willing to charge me $250. Here's the difference though. I was going to charge them $10 an hour, $100. All right. So now I'm all of a sudden getting 2.5 times my wimpy pricing, my wimpy hourly pricing, just because I packaged it as a solution to their problem using the 4 Ps. All right, this is a person who's willing to pay to get their house pressure washed. They have a pain. Their house looks disgusting. There's a promise, you're going to get a clean house. And there's a price that is based on value. That's the 4 Ps in action. So those are the 4 Ps. Now I realize there's people are probably in one of two buckets watching this video. You don't have paying customers. Well, then use the 4 Ps to get your first 10 paying customers or your first 100 customers. But then I bet a bunch of you watching this, you already have customers. Maybe you're at 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures. Use the 4 Ps to tweak what you're offering so that it converts at a higher rate. That's product market fit. Now, once you do that though, how do you scale? This is the fun part. There's only 3 ways to grow a business. Number 1 is you can get more customers. Number 2 is you can increase your average order value. And then number 3 is you can increase your lifetime value of those customers. All right, now when you think about scaling, right? So building out this product market fit and this bridge, most people, what do they go to? More customers. I just need more customers, right? And what they don't realize is this equation is really, really powerful, because let's say you get 10% more customers. Yes, that's awesome. But let's say you could increase your average order value. This is the amount that people pay you each time that they work with you. Let's say you could increase that by 25%. And then maybe you increase your lifetime value by another 25% because they work with you 25% longer, they pay you 25% more, or they refer you more business, right? Turning existing customers into active refers. Well, now all of a sudden that compounds, and it's way easier to double your business than you think in just those simple equations versus what most people think if they want to double their business. So let's say you're at $500,000, you want to get to $1 million. They're like, well, I just need to find $500,000 in more customers. That's really hard. So my question for you here, if you have product market fit, and maybe you need to tighten up that product market fit, but how do you scale? You focus on one of those 3 pillars. So is it more customers? For most people, it's not, unless you're just getting started. So how could you increase your average order value? By increasing the promise and the value that you're providing. How could you get people to come back to do business with you, right? How can you get them to refer you business? Focus on the area that will most grow your business. When I did this, for me, it was average order value. So I said, I'm going to focus right there. And then over the next year, we grew the average order value by like 20 or 30%. Boom, business starts growing like crazy, all because I figured out which lever to pull. Now let's talk about the 4th pillar, which is scalable customer acquisition channels. All right, so if you're watching this video, you're at 6 or maybe even 7 figures. You've probably got something that's starting to work, and now you're trying to pour gas on the fire. So there's really 2 types of customer acquisition. There's earned and paid. Earned, this is content, this is SEO, this is brand, this is referrals, right? It's where you're using sweat equity to get customers. You're creating a thing that then brings back customers, right? The second one is paid. So this is typically with ads and affiliates, okay? So you're paying for ads, you're paying for the billboard, you're paying for the Super Bowl halftime show. Please don't do that. For a lot of people, it's online, right? So you're paying Facebook, you're paying Meta, you're paying YouTube, Google, all that stuff for ads. That's paid. Now there's kind of pros and cons here, right? Earned is harder and it's less scalable up front, but it's way more profitable. Way more profitable. So earned media is the best place for a lot of people to start. There's kind of this weird catch-22 because you don't see instant results, so people give up on it. But if you commit to it over a long enough timeline, it's a defensible moat. Right? We've done this with our written content and our blogs. They bring in millions of dollars of sales a year. They brought in nothing for the first 6 to 12 months. So no one does it. So maybe you want to focus on earned at first, and then paid is what you can focus on once you have a proven offer. Paid is more scalable. It's less profitable, but you can do more volume because you just turn up the volume. Right? You just crank it up. Once it's working, you can pay more and more and more, right? So either you're paying upfront in the form of ads, or maybe you're paying on the back end in the form of affiliates. So saying to someone, hey, if you bring me a customer, I will pay you XYZ. So those are the 2 channels that you can use to scale. I'll give you an example. A good buddy of mine, his name's Jack. He started a company called Dr. Squatch. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a high quality men's soap company. We're living in this entrepreneur house in Venice, California when his business was blowing up. And I'm like, Jack, how are you doing this? And it was a combo of earned and paid, but he said, hey, we got a good brand and we just crank ads, right? So if you've seen any of their stuff, it's hilarious, it's funny. They had these funny commercials. They started working, so then they just said, let's spend more. They were spending millions of dollars a month on ads. Right? And this is selling soap. Okay. So this is not like this high priced item, but it's scaled like crazy. He had a massive exit. That's the power of a scalable customer acquisition channel. So whether it's earned or whether it's paid, you need a channel that scales. There's nothing more powerful than one scalable acquisition channel, and there's nothing more dangerous. All right. Because the power in that is like you can scale to the moon. But the danger is if that stops working, your business is screwed. So what I like to think about, and we'll talk about this more later in this series, is how do I have my one thing, right? My one scalable customer acquisition channel. Like I just want to keep doubling down on that. But then also, how do I hedge my bets? Okay, so that's just something to think about as you're scaling, because then all of a sudden, and we've went through these cycles, and this is what it takes to sustain, right? Where some things kind of drop off, but guess what? We already have this incubator over here incubating another channel that takes its place. So again, we'll talk about that later in this series. That's product market fit, y'all. This is, again, the least sexy, but most important thing that you could probably ever learn to scale your business. In the next video, we're going to talk about what comes after this. Because guess what? You can nail product market fit. You can start doing a lot of revenue and no profit. All right, so we're going to talk about how to scale without losing your margins, your mission, or your mind. The third piece of this is the island, right? Remember, this is 8-figure island. And so this third P is profit. So what we're going to talk about over here is how do you turn this into 8-figure island? Okay, so how do you nurture this so that your business is crazy profitable? There's also a one-pager. This is a single page that added millions of dollars in profit to my business. I'll break down what's on that page and what you need to do today to get more profitable in your business. I'll see you in the next video.